My name is Brian Wilson, and welcome to the app that I am building right now. It's called Silver Lining. It is an app where users can take a picture of the miracles that happened in their day, write a description about them, and then save them on their device. Haven't made it yet so that you can share it with friends, but that is something that I am willing to work on as I get more into databases and cloud storage. So I guess where we can start in my code review is app.js. This really is the brains and what brings together my React Native app. Um, so to get started, we have all our imports, and very important part right here is I am using a stack navigator to direct myself to different screens. We go ahead and set up, there's two directories that I use that store locally on the user's device. We got user.dir, image.dir, and so user.dir of course is where I'm going to store my user JSON or the user's JSON, and image.dir is where all of the user's posts will be stored so that they can access their photos even when not online. So first off, we have this function that makes sure that all of these directories do exist, which they won't if a user installs this app for the first time. So we go ahead and get those set up on the app. And this is basically the same thing, ensuring a file path exists for the user JSON. Currently, I just have it hard-coded in to the default be me. And here we go. Here is the app function. Really all this is holding each of the screens that I have created. So the default screen that it's going to put you on is the feed screen, and what all of this right here is basically allowing the screen to slide in from left to right. I believe that's the correct way I have it sliding in instead of the default of right to left. I had to copy some of this code in. Yeah, and then we got our two other screens, our create post screen and our profile screen. So we'll go ahead and start with the feed screen because that is the first screen that you're on. And so right now we have a render post. This is just a function needed because I'm using something in React Native called a flat list, and that allows you to render certain components in a basically infinitely scrollable list, as much data as I have, so just all the example posts that I created in a JSON file. And so here is the meat of the screen, not exactly what it's going to look like, but the style of how it looks. And it really just has a header with the profile picture and the logo that I created for it, and then this is the flat list I was talking about. So it's really just a header and a flat list, and then oh yes, of course, the button to create a post. This is our little floating button that will create the post. So we'll go ahead and go to create post screen. There is quite a bit to this one, especially with the use of components that I'm going to be going over with this. But right here, we're making sure that we have all of these system paths for the application, and then we're going to ensure that they exist again in case any error happened at app setup or app restart. And then we get down to our create post screen. So what happens is we're going to have a little, I'll show you all of this later, but we're going to have a button with a camera on it and then a text box down below where you can write a description. And so all of these things are going to be saved into state. That is basically React Native's way of updating a page whenever something changes. I want to say DOM, but I don't know if that's correct on React Native, but I know that's how it is on React.js. And so we're going to define all of our functions that we're going to pass to our components. We've got take photo, which just opens the camera and takes us to our camera component. And then we got our function to save the photo that we just took locally. So the photo is going to be saved in the state, and we're going to create a unique identifier for it. Right now we're just splitting it at the end because that's a timestamp, and that's good enough for now with this not being a massive app of a unique identifier. And then where we're going to save it in the image directory and then as the file name. And yeah, we have our accepts over here, catching errors. And then the next function to appear is updating user posts. So as soon as that file is saved, we're gonna pull down the user JSON, push into, I have a list inside of the user JSON called post, and we're gonna push inside of that the timestamp, description, and image file location, all of this as an object, send it back to the JSON, and save it back onto the system. And before we get into the handle submit post, I'll go ahead and get into the camera screen and the photo review. So that will be take photo is where we open our camera. This one, I mainly, this is really just a edited version of what Expo shows as an example of how to use the camera, because they already have a very good component set up when you go to their documentation for the camera. All I did was add a few buttons to take a photo and flip the camera. So right here we have flipping the camera. Oh, yes. And then we also have to make sure that permission is granted. If there's no permission granted, I'm just going to return a black screen, which is right here, just returning a regular view. And then we're going to take the photo. Once we take the photo, then we're going to save that photo in the state. We're going to pass it back to our create post screen. And here is our handle retake. And so basically what happens, as soon as we take a photo, we come down here. We see if a photo is saved in the state and if preview is true. So basically as soon as a photo is taken, I set the state of preview to true. And so that will show us our photo preview. So we'll go into that real quick. Really, all it is a simple view that takes the cache of the photo, puts it down onto another screen where you can just see the photo, see if you want it. There's two icons. There's a check mark, a check mark right here, and then a trash. So if you press trash, then that's going to take us to our function in take photo, which is going to set preview to false. So that's going to just completely hide the photo preview. It's going to update in the state, so that's going to be gone, and we're going to have the chance to take another photo. Going back to the photo preview, we have the check. If we keep the photo, then it shows, we go to the handle photo kept. Where is that? Sorry. Let's look again. I have a whole bunch up here. Handle photo kept. What function? Oh, it's just hiding the preview. Okay, so it just hides the preview of the photo, and then it's going to take us back to the create profile because it's going to call our handle close camera, which is inside of the create post screen that just sets the state of the modal to false so that we're just back at our post. And so it's going to, now that we have that, we've got a conditional image, trying to find that for us real quick. Yeah, right here. We've got a conditional image. If the photo's there and there is a photo URI, then we're going to show that photo URI to the user. It's going to be in their post, and then they can enter in their description which is right in this text, and each time the user types, then that's going to update the state of the description, so that we're just going to save that so that when we're ready to post it, that description will go into the user's JSON stored locally on the device. And I'm trying to find it. When I submit it, there I have a function for that. Yes, handle submit post. If there's no description, we're not going to allow that to happen, but a user can submit a miracle without needing a photo, because you don't always need a photo for a miracle. Then once it's submitted, we're going to alert them that the post is submitted, and where we're going to see that post is going to be on our profile screen, because usually on social media apps, when you take a picture and you post it, you're not going to see that in your feed, so it's not pushed to the feed. This one has a few components to it. First, again, we got render item, because we're using another flat list to display each of the user's photos. And then we got profile screen. We're just passing into it the post data. Oh, I am looking at a module, right? I'm looking at a component right now. I'm looking at the wrong thing, sorry. Yes, so here's the profile screen. Then as soon as we open this, we're gonna pull down the user's data so that all of their posts will show, and that's what this state is if we have that post data or not. User JSON is just grabbing that and parsing through the data. What a use effect does is whenever a page is loaded or a screen is loaded, it's gonna automatically asynchronously run this function. And so then I also have a use effect post data. So if a user does have their post data changed while they're on the screen, then it will update. It will live update all the posts on their screen. I added this function. It's a little bit for debugging, but it could be used. You just press the button and it clears all of your post JSON and brings you back to a normal screen. Okay, so here's the meat of it. We're going to have the user's profile picture, and then a little greeting to them, just greeting them by their first name and last name right here. And then we've got that clear post that I was talking about. And then post data is where we were at just before on profile screen post. It's a component. And we've got the flat list that I was talking about. And then we're going to just render the image of each of the user's posts. I want to make it later on so that when you click on it, it opens another component and it shows the full post. It shows the description and an enlarged version of the photo. But so far, this is what I have. And that is the code review for my application. So I will go ahead and show you how to run the application, because it's not posted anywhere. In my README, I have an installation guide of how to bring this onto your own computer, how to set up your own Expo server and then run it. So we'll just go ahead and get into directory npx expo start. That's going to start up our development server. And then I'm going to change this over to a screen recording from my iPhone. Alright, so we've got our development server working. And so we're going to tap on Silver Lining. We're going to open it up. It's opening our project. And this is what we are greeted with. These are just a bunch of mock posts with images that I pulled off the internet. Of just an example of how you can share miracles with others and it will show up. So we'll go ahead and go to that create post screen, which is this button right here. Here's the camera icon I was talking about. Oh, there we go. We got the camera working. You can see me making the video right now. We'll go ahead and take a picture. Do we like it? Nah, we want to take another one. So we're going to tap on this trash icon, get some nice picture of the code, and we like that one, so we're going to keep it. We have the image showing here now. We'll just post the image, see what happens. Oh, a missing description. We get alerted about that. So let's write a description. I love coding. What a blessing. Submit post. We get a notification that our post has been submitted. Straight back to the feed. Can see our buds post again. And we will go to my profile. Here is just this first one right here is the post we just took. But these are some posts that I've taken throughout the days. I've been working on this. I've cleared the post quite a bit, but so that is my app, Silver Lining. Thank you for watching my code review and an example of how the app works.